Hello and welcome to Marco on Markets. This channel is for educational purposes only and shares my personal opinions and investment process. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial product advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any investment. Always do your own research and consider obtaining advice from a licensed financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Good morning. My name's Marco and it's Thursday, 20th of August, 2026, 9:55 a.m. The market is about to open. We're expecting for the first time in a few days a positive start to the day with 0.31% higher is what's expected for the ASX 200. Overnight, the US market had a fairly flat but still positive trading day. S&P 500 was up 0.21%, Dow Jones up 0.22%, and NASDAQ up 0.16%. So it looks like we're following their suit. Today we've got some reporting from the Goodman Group. The Goodman Group is a global property group that owns, develops and manages industrial, logistics and data center real estate across major cities in Australia, Asia, Europe and the UK and the Americas, And the company generates earnings from property investments, development activities and the management of a large institutional property partnerships. I've downloaded their earnings report today and we'll just go through it. I've just done the summary, the investor presentation rather than the full, more dry version. So let's have a look at page 5. So the operating profit increased 15.7% to $2.6 billion, while operating earnings per share rose 10.1%, reflecting a strong development activity and portfolio performance. So that's a pretty significant profit, $2.6 billion. Okay, they've got significant expansion into data centers. So data centers developments now represent 78% of their $19.7 billion work in progress portfolio. The Goodman Group securing 6.4 gigawatts of global power capacity to support growing AI and cloud demand. So that's pretty massive. Pivoting into data centers as opposed to traditional offices and residential property. We've also got page 25. Okay, so we've got a large increase in the development pipeline. So work in progress increased 53% from $12.9 billion to $19.7 billion, highlighting substantial future growth opportunities. So that's great. Okay, we've got page 20. Here we go. We've got management earnings declined. So management earnings fell 18% to $690 million, primarily due to lower transaction and performance fees compared with FY25. And finally, I wanted to cover page 6 again. Management is targeting 9% operating earnings per share growth in FY27 and expects continued demand from AI, cloud computing, and large-scale logistics infrastructure. So that's looks like a positive company. They've got some good profits, some good growth opportunities there. I just pulled up some stats this morning on their workforce. So they employ around 1,000 employees, and in FY26 their tax expense was $219 million. So that's contributing to the Australian government taxes collected. So they're contributing to the community essentially by providing services through taxes. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how they open up. Let's have a quick look at their share price. So pre-open, it's the market will have just opened now, but it was $29.22. I'll just have a look at their chart. We'll do, say, a 5-year chart. All right, so around 5 years ago, they were $22, and today they're at $29. And you can see from the graph, they did go, fairly sideways for about 2 years of the last 5. And then they did have an increase, and then there's that dip there. And then, essentially gone sideways from there. But they are definitely up at, a higher level. So in the last 5 years, they've increased by 30%, which is modest, but it is a company that pays dividends around, they don't have the percentage here. It's not huge dividends. 30 cents on $30 is like, what, 1%? Without getting my calculator out. So yeah, not a huge dividend there. All right, let's do a little refresh and see how the market felt the report went. Okay, so it's up slightly. It's up 1%. That's not a huge gain or loss on the back of that. We'll refresh shortly at the end of the presentation. So the market overall is up 0.5% for the all ordinaries. Have a look at the ASX 200 stocks. And I like to focus on the ASX 200 because they're the top 200 companies in the index. And I don't really like to venture out on, I have done in the past, but I'm trying to learn new lessons. I like to focus on these bigger companies that, hopefully make lots of profits and money. So we've got a few new names in the list today. I'll just push these out so they're ready to go. So on the losing side today, we've got Medibank Private down 8.75%. Obviously, they're a health insurer. I wonder if they had earnings released today. Let me just have a look. Yes, they did. So the market didn't like Medibank Private. Without looking at the report, I assume that's why they're down. Downer Group, which is construction and engineering, they're down 8.5%. BlueScope Steel down 6.97%. I think they had a gain yesterday. Oh no, they were full. Okay, so they're really getting punished since they're reporting. Let me just do a 5-day chart. Rightio. So they just reported here, and since reporting, they've lost 12%. Okay, so that's BlueScope Steel. It's quite a successful company. I think they have profits of around, $1.2 billion, if my memory treats me well. We've got NIB, which is also a health insurer, so that's down 3%. That's interesting that we've got 2 health insurers. They don't normally make the top list for either gainers or fallers. And Brambles, which is non-paper containers and packaging, down 3%. Okay, that's interesting because we've, the online deliveries, there's lots of packaging. So Interesting. I'll have to have a look into that one. On the positive side, we've got Zipco, which do the consumer lending similar to Afterpay. That's up 14.73%. So that's interesting. I'll just have a look to see if they've had any announcements today. They've got issued. Okay, yes. So they've released their results, and obviously they were positive to um, be up 14%. They have had a massive, you know, decline and increase over the years. So they used to always be around that 70-cent mark up until around 2019, and then they did go right up as far as around $10.40, and then they lost, or they went down to about 40 cents to an all-time low. They went sideways for quite some time, around 2 years there. And more recently, they have had a few ups and downs, but they've never gotten anywhere near that $10 again. And I'm sure there's some investors that still have that stock. And at the moment, anyone that purchased at the peak would be down around 76%. So yeah, it's a bit of a wait to get back. Okay. So that's up 14%. Good on them. We've got Super Retail Group, which is up 12.9%. I did see on the list that they are reporting today, so that is positive news, and I'm happy to see that because I do have a retailer stock in Accent Group, and I'm getting a bit nervous about when they report and how the market will either. Well, I didn't think it'd be positive, so I was thinking that perhaps they'd get punished. But so it's interesting to see that this has been positive for Super Retail Group, and hopefully that rubs on to my retail stock. Then we've got Regis Group, Regis Resources, sorry, they do gold and they're up 9%. We've got Resolute Mining and also do gold, that's up 8.5%. And finally, we've got Vault Minerals, which is up 7.9%. So that is definitely a gold theme on the positive. I think yesterday we had golds down, at least a couple of stocks made the top 5 losers in the ASX 200. And today we've got 3 positive leaders. So gold is where it's at. I'm going to have a look at my watch list, and I'll update my portfolio. I'll do an update on my portfolio shortly. So we've got BlueScope Steel, which I mentioned before, Suncorp and Telstra. So Suncorp's down 2%. Telstra is down 1.1%. Coal's down 1.1%. That's not good for me because that's one of mine. Pretty much a sea of red, really. There's a few greens down the bottom. Okay. So, and then at the bottom of my watch list, I've got Zip, Star Group again, CSL. So they had they're having a really good run since their earnings release. WiseTech Global up 2.3%, as is Zero. WiseTech had a pretty steep fall yesterday, so I'd be happy to get some of theirs back. I'll just go to the tools and my virtual portfolio in NabTrade. So I've set my holdings up in here. So as I've mentioned previously, these are real stocks that I'm holding. The amounts and quantities are different. And we've got, these are all based off a $40,000 investment each. So we've got $160,000 invested, currently a market value of 122, which is down $36,000. These percentages are not correct, NAB, if you're watching, because 36%, let's do that. Sorry, 36,000 divided by the starting figure, which is 160, should be down 22% overall. The day change, I thought yesterday it was incorrect because that was I had just uploaded the values on that day, but clearly this needs a bit of fixing, NAB, if you're watching, because whilst Commonwealth might be down 1%, $1.65 would be incorrect. So anyway, I believe the total gain, excuse me, the total gain and total loss is correct as a percentage, but it obviously does exclude dividends. So Commonwealth is down 10.8%. Accent Group is down 66.9%. That's before dividends, and I think it's around 62% after factoring in dividends. Westpac down 10% and Coles down 3.6%. So yeah, not a good start to August. I've only had one successful trade, or one close, I should say. I will hold these three definitely until they get back into the positive territory. Commonwealth is a bit better than 10% because they went ex-dividend yesterday or the day before. So I think it's like $2.70 per share. So $2.70 times 225. So that's $600 will come off this, and then there'll be like $3,400 down. 3,400 on 40,000 is 8.5%. So it's about 1.5% in there. I think that's all. I was just going to come back and have a look at Goodman Group again and see if that's changed at all. Right, it's down now 0.9%. So it went from up 1% to down 1%. Look, it's fairly flat at this stage. I wouldn't say they're being punished or rewarded. We'll just have to see by the end of the day to see, where they end up. So on that note, we'll call it a day. Hope you have a good Thursday. Nearly, excuse me, nearly the weekend. And thanks for watching and supporting the channel. Have a good day.